Let's imagine. If you glimpsed the future, and were frightened by what you saw, what would you do with that information? You would go to who? Politicians? Captains of industry? And how would you convince them? With data? Facts? Good luck. The only facts they won't challenge are the ones that keep the wheels greased and the dollars rolling in. But what if there was a way of skipping the middleman and putting the critical news directly into everyone's head? The probability of widespread annihilation kept going up. The only way to stop it was to show it, to scare people straight. Because what reasonable human being wouldn't be galvanized by the potential destruction of everything they've ever known or loved? To save civilization, I would show its collapse. But how do you think this vision was received? How do you think people responded to the prospect of imminent doom? They gobbled it up like a chocolate eclair. They didn't fear their demise, they repackaged it. It can be enjoyed as video games, as TV shows, books, movies. The entire world wholeheartedly embraced the apocalypse and sprinted towards it with gleeful abandon. Meanwhile, your Earth was crumbling all around you. You've got simultaneous epidemics of obesity and starvation. Explain that one. Bees and butterflies start to disappear. The glaciers melt, algae blooms all around you. The coal mine canaries are dropping dead, and you won't take the hint. In every moment, there is the possibility of a better future, but you people won't believe it. And because you won't believe it, you won't do what is necessary to make it a reality. So you dwell on this terrible future and you resign yourselves to it. For one reason, because that future doesn't ask anything of you today. So, yes, we saw the iceberg, we warned the Titanic. But you all just steered for it anyway, full steam ahead. Why? Because you want to sink. You gave up. That's not the Monitor's fault. That's yours.
What is going on, everybody? It's Man of Tomorrow here. I want to thank you guys for coming through. Where did it go? There it is. All right. Again, I got time today. I am at home in Aurora, Colorado. Just got this thing over with, this eye exam. Yeah, I'll see them next year. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over an actual video. Because Mike V, you got a lot of background. Mike V went on to the actual AB Media platform, the Delta November affiliate of AB Media, and he attempted to have a conversation about Kamala versus Trump and the actual things that happened during the administration. And as with all these incredibly angry individuals, for some reason, a couple of things have happened. It is either they live in a liberal area, they refuse to participate in the process, or they live in a conservative area like AB Media. He lives in Indiana. Indiana is like West Virginia, it's like Mississippi. Damn near at the bottom with everything good, almost at the top but everything bad. Now, rather than go 93 miles to the west to a little town called Marshall, Illinois, it is the first city as soon as you cross over into Illinois and get the Affordable Care Act. He refused it. Or he could have gone 65 miles to the east and went to Ohio to get the Affordable Care Act there. But he refused it because healthcare is his biggest issue. But he lives in the place that is 95% Republican ran. And rather than fix things in his state or move to a better area, he decides to troll black women, the Democratic Party, for not coming to rescue him from the state that he chose to live. We're gone. Got the mic together. Are we good?
Yep, we are good. And what you're talking about is bottom line truth. These guys are living in these areas. They're complaining about what their party, whoever they say that there's, who they're down with, not doing anything for them, and then they want to complain about you and your party. That's where these guys are at with this. And I'm saying make some sense out of it. Let's get some cogent type of responses from this, and we hear nothing. Nothing.
I mean, because BGS has been pretty quiet since the dropping of the actual video. But we're gonna do another video showing you that this 66-year-old clown don't even understand the Voting Rights Act. That's gonna be the next video or tomorrow night. Because like I said, we gonna be. I'm telling you, I'm at home right now, and that charcoal and gasoline aisle is quite full, and we gotta somehow get rid of some of this stuff. And at the end of the day, you have to understand that the black manosphere is very easy to defeat. I understand people want incompetent men as an actual problem. I want to show people that you live in an area that don't work, or perhaps it does. But because AB Media can be like Tierson Johnson, who's live right now doing everything in the world but talking about politics. He's doing another movie review. Why? Because these dudes are idiots. Idiots. This dude built an entire platform based off of crowdsourcing your ignorance and turning it into emotional talking points, calling it a blackmail agenda, and then not taking it to nobody. Because there's the guy on this panel that I want on a one-on-one. So that way I can show you how stupid these angry ass younger dudes who don't understand anything about anything is when you isolate him from his source of ignorance and you ask them basic questions about how society works. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of this so that way you can see key points of this conversation. No. AB Media doesn't need to come up here. I mean, the conversation's over. I mean, I thought it was over for BGS. It's definitely over for AB Media. You know what, AB Media? Good luck with your memeing, buddy. Maybe you can meme your way to a Republican. Maybe you can meme it down to, I don't know, from 95% Republican ran to maybe 50, maybe 70. What do you think? So how many memes does it take about black women, me, Roland Martin, just to get those Republican numbers down? How many memes does it take? He's even trolling Cynthia G, knowing full well that dude would run barefooted across a volcanic eruption to get a piece of Cynthia G. If she up.
That's hilarious.
AB Media. And these are the type of idiots that BGS empowers, like Art Newstall, AB Media, Mr. Z, Edward Anderson, you know, all these people who just are extremely confused, don't know anything about politics, and their only thing is to conversate about women and to throw black women under the bus, like how somehow that's going to be able to fix that issue. But Let's make a little announcement before we actually get into this Hold on a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now,
oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Oh my!
Oh yeah!
Oh my God! Oh my
So I'm
God!
trying to get the minute marker right because I got to catch my mic beat went up. So give me a couple seconds to get this minute marker right. Hold on.
actual, protocol.
That's 2 hours and one. Let's go back a couple more other minutes.
Let me. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. Straight up. On paper, the Republicans should get squashed in the next election, both for the House and the Senate. But if
Now, fuck you. You voted for these people. Oh, don't back out of it now. These are your people. You voted for these people. You voted for them. And he's going to make these comments about drunk AKAs and people sleeping their way to the top, that type of nonsense. But this is the party that you voted for. Remember, you're on a side. The side that you own runs your state and has always ran your state. I have never heard AB Media talk about Greg Pence, the vice president's brother. Have you ever heard of him talk about Greg Pence and what he's doing for the area of Indiana that he's from? Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard him talk about Greg Pence?
I've not.
You have not, huh? Huh, kind of strange. Wonder what that's about. Well, let's keep going.
If they don't get squashed, if they maintain the House or the Senate, it's going to be because of these dumbasses like this. I said what I said. Anyway, let's go back. Let's get back to it.
Organizations possibly. It would be interesting to know that, but I don't know.
All right, let's keep going here. See, when AB Media does analysis, because he's not good at doing analysis, he tried to ignorance wash what I'm actually saying. Now, my commentary was actual commentary based on the fact that Tierson Johnson is a grifter who formulated a blackmail agenda and took it to nobody, who lives in a liberal state. At the current time right now, most of the House seats are liberal with the exception of one. But when California did that actual proposition, now it's 100% liberal at this point. They have a liberal House and a liberal Senate for the state side. And Tierson Johnson teaches at a PWI, which means he's not around black people at all. But he pushes this black victim nonsense on people who are black because he's a masculinist. And you know what a black masculinist is? It is the same as a fat, out of shape, unfuckwithable woman that is an actual feminist. He just wanted to be the male version of that. That's why he studied feminism and went to school for it and shit. So that way he can just pump out victimhood 24 hours a day and don't have to talk about solving any problem. Because none of these people in academia are any good at solving any problem. They're just good at representing the same conversation over and over again with no expectation of solving the problem. And that's why he teaches at their PWI. And that's why BGS brought him here. Because BGS has no credentials whatsoever. He don't even have an associate's degree. But he wants to be a master teacher. And then he tried to leverage all of these people's education and trying to hide behind all these people when he just brought all these people to grip off of this space. And then if you match it up with people, idiots like AB Media and Art Nostal and Mr. Z and all these incredibly non-well-spoken men who just done nothing but just dodge the actual conversation, but want to benefit from it. want to benefit from the Democratic Party, but never will vote for it. I'm telling you right now, do not bring these people around. Do not bring them around. You force them to fix their stuff in their own area. You do not let these individuals out of those areas where those things do not work. Do not allow them to join the team. You know.
Communal standpoint. I've been saying this for years. Black men, in many ways, still think politically in terms of how the African American community has kind of shaped itself since the 1970s, going from Black Power era through Jesse Jackson, African American, so on and so forth. We still think in terms of those ideas about the Black community.
Yes, they did.
The problem is that Black women have been operating as their own separate demographic for years, for decades now, most particularly since the 1980s. They have conceptualized them. Right?
See,
Supreme Court's decision to reject Louisiana's most.
See what I'm saying?
Oh,
Wow.
He wants to turn. He wants to turn. Like he doesn't understand. Well, he does understand. He's doing this on purpose, but he's trying to wrap black a quarter on off area for Black men and pretend like we are a different group of people that need to be separately voting, not with Black women's.
No, we don't need to be voting with Black women's interests. Because they don't vote for our interests. Why should we vote for theirs? No.
Have you said what his interest is? What are Black men's interests? If you're not organizing, you don't have any interest. What's going on here?
When I hear them talk, I've never heard of any interest that they speak about. That also goes to where I hear some other people when they run over there and start talking about tangibles and other stuff that you hear kind of on that other FBA side and all that kind of silliness. You don't hear anything of what your interests are. Neither do they know of any type of legislation or anything that was passed that was in your favor through the through not only through Obama but also certainly through the Biden administration. They have no idea.
Go, your mic went out.
Crap about. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're good now. Right.
Yeah. They talk all the stuff about 60 years ago and they haven't done anything in 60 years. They talk all this mindlessness because they don't know what's going on. But yet this is the stuff that you hear from these people routinely, pure ignorance, no facts, no nothing specific to really speak on. But if you ask them about interests and what they're looking for, you hear nothing from them.
But the people who have organized, as Black women do, they're supposed to spend everything on groups of people that don't organize. Because here's the thing: people who participate in the process knows that what Black women's interests are is mostly going to be what Black men's interests are. Period. Because those women have kids, they have husbands, all this kind of stuff. There's this grand assumption that the women who actually organize for the Democratic Party are somehow 1,000% single. And don't have any kids and don't have any husbands. They're just doing stuff as a rogue operative with just not including anybody else. And that ain't the case. It's never been the case. Ever been the case. But if you let these lunatics tell it, that's what they try to present it as. And the only thing is that most of these people don't even care about that.
That's very true.
Yeah, nobody care about this.
Very true.
Hey, man, they can marry whoever they want to and still fight for interest, man. Like, what is this? Okay, let's say they married to a Latino, whoever they want to. That's what Loving versus Virginia was about. You getting to marry whoever you want to. What does that have to do with you and where you live in? I don't give a shit whether she had kids or not. That's just one person. Okay, if you compare Jasmine Crockett to like Lauren Boebert, she got tons of kids. And look at the stuff that she does. She get nearly, dude, she gets ignored by most of the men in this space. or all of the men in the space. That's the actual ratchet in the actual house.
Yeah, but these are straw man arguments these guys make. No, no real substance to it because they're not talking about interests. These guys don't have any interest. You ask them what their interests are, they can't tell you. Or they'll come up with something like immigrants. What does that mean? Explain that. They can't. They're taking our jobs. Statistically, that has been exactly a non-fact.
Okay,
It's a non-fact.
all right.
Non
So,
sequitur. Doesn't even continue onward. What are
so
you
we
talking
got a
about?
motor mouth in the chat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you a simple question, and I want you to give me a simple answer. Whoever this person is, you have 2 minutes to answer this question, and if you can't, I'm gonna block you from my channel. What legal argument was made for them to get rid of the Voting Rights Act? Right now, it is 9:38 Eastern. Nagone, let me know when it's 9:45 Eastern. If he doesn't give me a legal argument about why the Voting Rights Act was taken down and what has changed in the South, we're going to remove this guy from our chat. Or you can hit the link and come up. One or the other.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so-
So if you want to talk about that, I want to talk about the redistricting. But what you got to do is you got to come up with a legal argument.
the clock is ticking, Jesse.
Jesse, the clock is ticking.
Either you get up here.
Get up and explain it, or you don't.
No race-based districts.
No. He got 7 more minutes. He got 7 because this is not a legal argument. This wasn't argued in front of anybody. This wasn't argued back and forth in front of anybody. They just did this with disregard to history and disregard to anything else. So he has a little while to come up with a legal argument and present it. It just became that way now. There was a reason why it was done like that before. So. No, well, let's just keep going. Let's give him a couple more minutes to get his act together and let him.
No, we do need to separate. No, we don't want, and we didn't want to separate from black women, but they separated from us. So turnabout is fair play. Yeah, black men do need to separate their vote from black women.
No, like you live in Indiana. You've already separated yourself from the black community and black interests once you decide to live in a Republican-ran state. That's when you separated yourself from everyone else. You decided to live around that Republican shit. You did that on your own. And now you want people, other areas to stop functioning because you locked yourself into an area that doesn't function. That is your fault. I don't ever want to hear nobody who lives in the South, lives in Indiana, West Virginia. Conversation is over about what you bring to the table. Maybe you can have a liberal mayor, maybe a congressperson or two, but letting you tell other people in working areas that they need to be disconnected from the political process because your personal politics don't work? Nah, bro, you ain't about to run that type of game. Of course you're trying to run this white supremacist bullshit of trying to get people to stop showing up because your area don't work. So how's that going to help you get more democratic control in your area that you decide to live in if everybody's supposed to stop everything everywhere else?
Correct.
I mean, all these people are just political saboteurs. Only thing they're trying to do is grief the process. And here's the thing. If you let one of these idiots talk you into not participating in the process while the right wing shows up every single time for the process, you're a damn fool. Like, look, most of these animals watch sports. They do. They watch the hell out of sport. They would never tell somebody to not enter the draft. They would never tell somebody to not enter free agency. Like they understand that. Like if you were to tell your team not to show up during playoffs and automatically throw the game, like these ignorant animals understand that. But they don't understand politics. They understand it when it's sports. But they don't understand it when it's politics.
No. You know, politics has a certain level of complexity to it. And people want it pre-digested and served to them so they don't have to think through some of this stuff. They don't have to think through some of it. And that's part of the problem. Sports, just in front of you, you can look at it kind of easy, it's entertaining. Politics has some levels of complexity. And people don't like to think, and a lot of people don't like to read. They don't like to know what's really going on. So that's why it's easy to spoon feed them, give them a reason for something, and then they'll go along with it. You can talk people into stuff pretty easily. Can't
And then they have the nerve to live in liberal areas and then play dumb and ask stupid ass questions like, well, what have the Democrats done? First of all, they can provide an area good enough for your dumb ass to live in. I would say that's enough right there. And if you don't like that area, you can go move your ass out to conservative country where there ain't no services. But they never go do that, do they?
Democrats, when you want to look at it, and we want to look at this thing overall and how a lot of this stuff came down, especially since the Rooseveltian era, it's pretty much given you everything that you want to look at more of an open society today, from your social services, your education, your housing, banking laws. Everything came down primarily through the Democrats. And black people lined up with the Democratic Party, not because our people were slaves. It's because they talked stronger and met our interests. Black people have always been sophisticated in how we've used our vote. And we've always gone along with parties that have gone with our interests. We did that with the Republican Party. Certainly,
right after the Civil War?
Back to the Civil War. We certainly did that. And
until we got stabbed in the back when it came to the end of Reconstruction and that Missouri Compromise.
1877, they turned their back on us. That's when things really started, and then of course, it was a more downhill flow from there. And certainly we saw what happened during Plessy versus Ferguson and so forth. And, in 1896, and, that ushered in Jim Crow. And then we turned that around, and after the 54 decision. And then, certainly you had Roosevelt, who came through with his New Deal and so forth, and really started to begin to incorporate blacks more so into the game. We looked at that as being beneficial. And that's where, we started seeing a large part of those changes. And then we've moved down, and certainly during the Johnson administration, after Kennedy and Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, and all that came through, we certainly went with that because that was certainly in our greater interests. We can get to some of the smaller things that were there, but this was really what happened. We've always voted our interests. Why are we going to go against our interests? You have these people here talking crazy, calling themselves FBAs and all that, going with people who were here to literally knock you out of the box or lay on the couch and talk about that this is really smart for you. What do you plan on getting out of that? What's the political advantage in doing that? What kind of strategy is that? That's certainly not going to work. It's certainly not going to get you anything. But this is what these people are actually going for. It's absolute madness. It's schizophrenia. These people have literally lost their minds. I don't know what else you can really say.
Hold on a second. I fucked around block May by mistake. Hold on a second. Let me go back there. I'm sorry about that, man. I meant to get that other dude. I got him the second time. Sorry about that. No. Go ahead and go. Keep talking for a minute so that way I can be able to.
I'm just saying.
Bring
that's it.
Back. I'm sorry about that, man.
That's pretty much it. What, when you ask for legislation that really has moved in favor, when people want to talk about, well, we want to have tangibles, we want to have things for black people, and so on and so forth. Point to me since the 1940s what the Republicans have put forth that really has helped to advance black people here in this country. There has been some, so not to say that it has been. I'm aware of that, but I'd like to hear from them what they know about that, and what have they done recently that has really worked within your favor. Really, what has worked within your favor since they became arch conservatives, if you will, since the RNC 1964. I really want to see what they've come forward with. I'd like to see that. All right. So anyway, if anyone of them can answer that, of course you won't get any answer from them, of course. But yeah, black people go with where their interests have been best met. And for those who haven't, the last 60 years, anything for the last 60 years. The question is, are you sure about that? Do you even know what you're talking about? And,
most of this stuff is they don't know. They're too stupid to find out, and they have no intellectual capability of wanting to know. They just want to be continuously brought up to speed. And I just say it's very clear. I don't have time to be bringing people up to speed. If you don't know, that means your ass need to find out. For instance, I'm a 49er fan. If I want to know how many Super Bowls that the 49ers have won or not won, I can go look that up because I don't know. And if I wanted to know what Pittsburgh Steelers, how many Super Bowls that they've won, I can't just go around and say I don't know. The same capability of me finding out how many Super Bowls the 49ers have won, I can say and use the same faculties to figure out how many Pittsburgh Steelers have won. I mean, it's the same information. Look, if you don't know, you should be doing the most research.
They could easily pull that up. They could easily look at the last administration and see what has moved within your favor and what the Republicans have done. They're saying, kiss the Democrats' ass. You really look at the Democrats. What?
How is ripping the Democrats is going to change your 95% Republican ran state?
What have the Republicans done for you? What have they done for black people collectively here in this country over the last 30 years? I would just like to leave it at that.
And at the end of the day, look, at least be like T.S. Johnson and BGS Itmore and Art Newstall. Have enough sense to live in a liberal area and play stupid. Don't play stupid from a Republican area. Don't do that. That's dumb.
Well, what they
move the ball.
What they say is that doesn't mean anything. They say because you live in an area. What kind of sense does that make? They don't understand what they're even talking about. They don't understand where they live.
It's just that relevant. They want to be babied. They want to be brought up to speed. I'm like, look, the next political thing is just don't even. I'm like, you know what? You got it. You right. Voting don't mean anything, and you just move on to somebody else. Because when you just say, you know what? You wage war, you allow them victory, and you just leave the battlefield. There's nothing to talk to dumbass individuals about. We live in a democracy. And if you don't want to actually participate in it, nobody's forcing you to do so. Nobody's forcing you to do so. And at the end of the day, this stuff affects your entire life. Nobody's telling these conservatives to stay home. They show up every single election to make things worse. And look, Colorado used to be one of those right-wing states too, where 45% of the people showed up to vote. You had the Denver Post and the Denver Rocky Mountain News. You had AM radio. You had the entire conservative boom in multiple stations, all up and down the AM radio dial. Nothing but conservative. Until people just like, look, we're just going to move into these totally white areas, bring all this liberal stuff to them. It can't be leveraged because there ain't no minorities out there. And we slowly turn this state around. Took about 2004, 2005. But after that, things started to work well. And then we legalized marijuana. And that's how come we're able to do all these public works projects around here in Colorado. Every time I drive from the East Coast and coming back, It's a new development going up. They extending light rail. They're doing all this stuff just through marijuana tax. That's it. That's all they're doing.
And those federal and state dollars, they come rolling through, and you get a lot of service. You get a lot of service from that. What a lot of black people don't understand is when you vote and your representation, here you're going to be in Louisiana, 33% black. It's that state, 33%. And you're going to have no black representation. So what does that mean for monies coming into your schools? What does that mean for monies coming into your community for infrastructure? What does that mean for various community projects and so forth that will deal for everything from healthcare to education to senior citizens, every kind of aspect of life you can look at? That dollar's coming there now based on that. You won't have a representative who will help to move that into your area, which will directly affect you on the ground right then and there, because your Congress people are your closest representatives to the people. That's why you're elected every 2 years. So, but yet they sit here and say, "Oh, it's gone, and it's not going to have any effect on us." It's because these same dumb Negroes sat around, voted the couch, sat back, talked about how the Democrats didn't do anything for them, and now these guys have taken your vote away, and now you're have basically taken your vote away, taking your representation away. Taxation without representation. You're going to see further decrease of the quality in your community, because those federal dollars will be moved away from going into your communities and going into theirs.
Correct.
And that's what you're looking at. And these people are sitting here saying, okay, all right. So when your communities become more polluted, become greater areas for corporate dumping grounds and so forth, that you will have nothing to say about, barely. All right. Especially when your state game is going to be altered as well. Your state representation. All right. All of these things are going to have a cumulative effect. And these people are sitting here acting like this is no big deal, have no understanding of exactly what this means.
I tell people up front, this is how you handle it. In the primary, you can vote whoever you want to. In the general election, that's when it's the left-right conversation. We don't live in a parliamentary system where if you keep dividing up your power, that doesn't mean that you get more power. I have no interest in talking to nobody who doesn't understand that. Listen, if the Mississippi Delta can teach that in 7th and 8th grade at Solomon Junior High School, and at T.L. Weston High School, then your dumb ass can go learn it too. Okay? There's no excuse for not knowing how the government works. Like, dude, we got people who are developmentally disabled, 40 and 50 years old, pretending like they don't know how things work. What? And they live in liberal areas. No, bringing them up to speed with what? If only I can weld a book to a piece of rebar and just start beating the life out of these people with the goddamn Constitution. It probably still won't work. Right? But that's just where we at, man. Look. These people live in areas that don't work. They want you to join them in areas that also don't work. And that's not something that everybody should try to be around. That's a them problem. They are a local problem to the area. Like, I don't want to hear people who malign themselves to politically non-available things and then complain about working areas. No, I'm not trying to hear that. But let's keep going. Liberal, Supreme Court liberal. But he wants to tell black men that they ought to be this separate group of people everywhere else except for where he's at. Unreal.
Yes, we should separate our voting issues. Hell, black women already do it. Why turnabout's fair play?
We'll go a little bit forward.
That's what MOT is talking about.
Which one of those items on the do I agree or disagree with what?
Those where it said shut up and vote, and how black men are not. What's the name of that stream? Hold on just a second.
Like, what is meant by shut the fuck up and vote is pick a side. You're not remedial. You're not well, you may be remedial, but at the end of the day, stop trying to act like because you don't understand something that we all got to start over. You can't turn your self limitations into cultural value. That's what they're trying to do. I'm limited and I don't want to pay attention to how things work. Therefore, I want nobody else to participate. Like, nah, man, that's just a you problem and a you problem to yourself. That isn't everybody's issue. You live in an area that does not work outside of Indianapolis and outside of South Bend. It does well, Evansville and Terre Haute. Because the Coca-Cola, the bottling plant there used to be there, right? And those people retired off that in that city before that shit closed down. Evansville because of all the casinos and all the building that's going down there. Obviously South Bend because of Notre Dame. And Indianapolis because it's the capital city and where most black people live, which is where his black ass lives. But he want to keep pretending that Republicans who run the state somehow is going to give him something extra by thinning out his vote somewhere. What?
And Gary, Indiana, as well.
Yeah. Sorry. I keep thinking Gary is part of Illinois for some reason. I mean, it might as well be because it's like 5 miles across the board.
Now, there is one thing that I also want to make sure that we're clear on. Because there was a lot of pressure here they are supposed to be a very conservative state. They ultimately had to kind of sign on with the ACA. So they do participate in the ACA, allowing residents to access. They do have a comprehensive health insurance, income-based premium subsidies. They do have that. Now, how extensive that is and how that really filters down throughout their community is a whole nother question, which I don't think is very extensive. Don't want to say that factually to say that is exactly the case, but they do have a ACA compliant individual program for family health care insurance. So they signed on to that. They did sign on to that, and it seemed like that was under great pressure. And here is a very conservative state that ultimately had to take on what we consider a fairly liberal policy, right?
Yeah.
Conservative or not, anybody with a brain, at least that's an independent or could just see like reality for what it is, knows that.
Now, nobody's talking to this guy. And this is why it's a bad idea to not go up there when AB Media's up there so that we can have a back and forth with AB Media. Because this is how BGS argues, right? They're so angry because they don't know how shit works. So they just say a bunch of random dumb shit. And this guy actually lives in a liberal area. Who knows who he voted for in the general election, but he seems to be anti-democratic, even though he does live in a liberal area. And again, if this is what you are, there's no real reason to talk politics to people who think stupid shit like that. Okay? If you're that mad at your local area, then you need to move to a conservative area. It's a binary system. You're not going to talk all this anti-democratic shit from my fucking party that protects your motherfucking ass where you fucking live at. I'm not even going to allow no conversation like that to go down. There is no bug dancing in the middle, pointing at both sides while you're in the fucking middle, while I have to be tied down to a side. Don't even talk to nobody like that. Don't ever talk to nobody like that.
So true.
Illegal immigration is bad. There's no way around it.
Immigration is not bad. Immigration is replacing dumb, ignorant, slack-jawed niggas with motherfuckers who actually want to work. These jobs that these immigrants are getting, other people can go get those jobs if they fucking want them. If that's why we have an immigration issue in the first place. 1, cheap labor. 2, the jobs are not being fulfilled by most black people who can find themselves online as angry as this stupid motherfucker is. If you want to actually not have an immigration issue, you would charge into all these fucking jobs, regardless of this shit. If you ever been to Great Britain, if you ever been to Ireland, those whites do all of those fucking jobs. That's how come they don't have a fucking immigration issue. Because those people are going to get those jobs and they're going to raise those wages in those jobs so that way they can have a living wage where they're at, right? They don't dodge the responsibility of working like these people do. Don't pick a fucking side and then claim to be a victim. When you go to all these other places, those people have those jobs. And look, there's a lot of rural white areas in this country that has mastered exactly that, which is why you don't see Latinos in a whole bunch of areas where those whites decide, like, look, we're going to pack this shit out to where we get all the jobs. We're going to fill up every single job and make everything I-9 verifiable. So that way ain't none of these people going to be here. You can do that. That's very easy. But at the end of the day, if you have a talentless, skillless pool of people who take entertainment more seriously than actual progress, this is the problem you're going to have. Like, the key to the immigration situation is to pack out these jobs and then raise the wages of those jobs by you being in them. You don't just say, oh, it's a job that I don't want. Yeah, that's how they get in here. Not even that much of a problem. What's going on, Mike? And look, we are sanctuary state, Colorado. We don't have a problem. You used to not see whites in them construction jobs. Now you do out in the middle of nowhere. Why? Those people seen that those jobs was coming in and they packed those fucking jobs before those Latinos even got out there like that. And that's the smartest thing to do. If you want to get rid of the immigration problem, you go pack those jobs out. So there is no need for immigration. It's not even that hard. But when you're dealing with people this angry over nothing, I ain't got time for these idiots, man. I ain't got time for that.
What's going on, Mike?
Oh, that's Mike V?
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to this dumbass stream right here.
What's dumb about it?
A direct question. Let's see how he answers it.
You're not saying anything but a bunch of buzzwords.
I'm not even on the panel.
Well, your people.
Mike's about to ask him a direct question. A direct question, and they're so stupid that they couldn't answer the direct question. They don't even understand analysis. My analysis is pretty clear to understand. But they're so incensed that I would even criticize somebody that they like, that they just skip over the analysis because they're so dumb. But let's keep going.
Okay, so which argument do you have a problem with?
What arguments have they made?
Motherfucker, he asked you a question. You don't repeat his question back to him. You're the one who has the disagreement.
You're listening to it, right?
Yeah, they're acting like Dr. T's
They're not saying anything.
Republican, and he's not even close to that.
So how long have you been listening to it for?
For a minute. I've been listening for, is that the 40-minute mark? Yeah, I've been listening for a while.
So which argument that they've made so far that you have a problem with?
They haven't made any arguments. They just keep basically saying, oh, you don't vote for us, so you're bad. Like, there's no argument going on. They just keep saying, oh, you're ignorant.
See, these are the type of people that BGS attracts to his channel. Stupid motherfuckers who just don't even understand that you've been listening to something. If you disagree, what is your disagreements? Your disagreements can't be, well, they're just saying words. They're saying words. Yeah, what does those words mean? There's an actual clear argument here. Again, he asked them a direct question, they still haven't answered it. They're trying to put it on Mike V to answer their questions that they're asking him. It's ridiculous.
But they're not explaining how supposedly T. Hassan Johnson or people like us are ignorant. That's what we're trying to find out.
What's the crux of the stream itself?
They're going over his stream. One of Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's videos where it said "Shut up and vote" and how black men are not. What's the name of that stream? Hold on, just a second.
You just said it. He just said it.
They're going over one of Dr. T's stream and they disagree with it.
Almost gonna vote for you. Just put my name on everything, and then I vote for you next time. It's like, man, get the fuck out of here, man.
You give me 90%, but that other 10%, if you don't give it to me, well,
what he's doing is he's just scrolling through the actual stream. He's not even listening to it. He doesn't even care about the argument. He just wanted ignorance wash the actual stream in front of his dumbass listeners because he can't keep up with the actual point that was being made of the actual stream. This is what happens when you lack the ability to actually criticize something properly. You're stuck in this angry status of just playing shit just to be playing it and don't understand the particular point of it, just to just shit all over the stream. It's a way of gish galloping the conversation without putting any intellectual investment into understanding what my disagreement is.
I mean,
it's environmental. Yeah, let's keep going.
Can confuse voters and disrupt the administration of elections. Right? Based on Supreme Court precedent, it should be what we have is a rolling back of civil rights. Black men, in many ways, still think politically in terms of how the African American community has kind of shaped itself since the 1970s. Going from Black
That's mostly true.
Power era through Jesse Jackson, African American, so on and so forth. We still think in terms of those ideas about the Black community. The problem
he's talking about, that's mostly true. A lot of us still think in the kind of the Jesse Jackson area. That's very true.
Is
because it was
been operating as their own separate demographic for years, for decades now.
Yes, it was effective.
Right. So why would they stop thinking that way?
It's not effective now.
What's not effective now?
They conceptualize themselves as a separate entity. Again, invoking Ice Cube and the Cocktails with Queens. This is the moment. This is what I call a Black masculinist turn. This is
okay. Ice Cube with the Cocktail with Queens. That's not a political show. It doesn't fucking represent all of America. For a PhD to cherry pick that specific stream that Ice Cube was on, you do know Liz Ray used to work with Ice Cube on the Players Club, right? So you can't take that type of shit seriously as actual analysis, and you can't spread that across the entire Black people to make it seem like that shit is how all women think. Lisa Ray is not a political fucking person. Cocktail with Queens is not a political show. It's not even The View. It's not even any show. But to him, he's found something he can latch on to where he found women disagreeing with Ice Cube when they're both culture warriors running a particular hustle. Like Ice Cube in his contract with Black America was a hustle. It was a way for him to get on TV and buck dance in front of people and give them fake representation. And then T.S.I. Johnson turned around right after Ice Cube did it and did the exact same fucking thing Ice Cube did. Come up with a political plan, no regard to history, doesn't understand all that shit was passed already, didn't go to the proper channels, just ran up in there and wanted to do shit. Just like when, there was a Black panel, he just wanted to be up there by himself and just clout chase on shit. I think some shit like that should get you X'd out. Like, dude, you don't see Jews doing that shit. You don't see Chinese doing that shit. You don't even see the Asian community as a whole putting a motherfucking entertainment rap Delta Novembers out there to actually do shit. You don't see that. How is Ice Cube, a guy from California, a liberal state that works, by the way, going to go negotiate a contract with Black America for all Black Americans in the country and not coordinate with anybody on the ground across the country? How can you do that? How's that possible that you can do that?
Incredible.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb.
The moment where Black men realized how bad this has gotten. But this has been happening for decades.
But you're talking about it from an actual Cocktails with Queens and Ice Cube. One show where a bunch of rich motherfuckers are pretending like they're dumb about politics. And you, as a person who know how to do research, this is the only research that you've taken on purpose to try to spread across the entire cosmos of Black people in whole, just so that way you can be able to throw women under the bus. Unbelievable.
I grew up as Generation X. I came up in the era.
Hold on, AB. Pause it real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Mike, do you agree that or disagree that black women have basically made themselves a different political entity.
You know, this is the type of stupid shit that T.S. Johnson and BGS turn these dudes into. They turn these dudes into crash dummies, trying to pretend that black women is some type of separate political group. Now, this is actual T.S. Johnson shit that he's doing on purpose from his primarily white institution that he fucking teaches at. Right? But at the end of the day, he's trying to re-ask the question to somebody else to see if Mike V agrees with that. Nobody agrees with that. Nobody agrees with that. When women are out there, they're fighting for shit for black people, men and women alike. And when they get shit like cutouts from JP Morgan Chase and shit, that affected black families. And when that shit was taken away with all this DEI shit before they were going to eventually take the Voting Rights Act away and all this black representation away, T.S. Johnson was the person who was celebrating this shit. Black women losing all that fucking funding. And T.S. Johnson was also celebrating that shit. Black women losing all those fucking jobs. He was celebrating that shit. As a person who works at a primarily white institution, celebrating black women losing a bunch of fucking jobs. He did that on purpose. He did it himself. Unbelievable. But let's see what Mike B's answer is, because this idiot on the panel asked this question. I don't think it's true. And why would it matter to you? It's like, okay, black women go out there and organize. They're supposed to give everything they organize to these idiots who don't even believe in the process. I wouldn't do that shit either. But let's see how Mike B answers it.
Do I agree or disagree with what?
That black women have essentially made themselves their own political entity or bloc.
No, I think that they have carved out their interests within politics.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you go ahead?
Yeah, no, continue.
I was gonna say, so I understand that. Like, I'm not gonna tell anybody to go against their interests, but does their interests include black men?
Their interests are different and separate from black men's interests right now, right?
Okay.
So if black men's what are black men's interests right now?
Well,
both of y'all talking.
No, answer the question. You're the ones who say that you're separate. What are your interests? Because the guy who Mike's talking to lives in Mike's area. And AB Media lives in Indiana. So what is your Indiana black male interest that's not being actually done in your area?
Talking at the same time.
Now go ahead, AB.
The 19-point agenda that Dr. Chi listed out.
Okay.
See, this stupid motherfucker don't understand it. That 19-point agenda is a crowdsourced emotional document. It is not public policy. He's not even doing it in California, the most liberal state. We can get most of that shit off, probably. He's not even presenting it there. But see, the problem is that they just want to take things and just use it as representation without any regards to any factual information or even knowing how any of the process works. There's no real reason to be that stupid to think that the black male agenda, that 19-point agenda that guy who teaches at a primarily white institution came up with, who did not put it into public policy. He didn't do shit with the Trump administration. He didn't do shit with the Biden administration. Remember, this shit's been out there since 2020. That's 6 years. He didn't take it to anybody.
And MLK, you might also want to mention much of what this man was trying to talk about in his 19-point agenda was already put into what was
already done.
Was already done and put forth by the Congressional Black Caucus. But
correct.
I digress. Go ahead, MLK. Go ahead.
But they'll use any reason to restructure the argument around culture war, because most people don't believe in politics. They just believe in, regardless of the question, I'm just going to pretend like nothing has ever happened for us and the Democrats need to do more. Even while the Republican Party runs everything, Democrats still need to do more. again, these type of idiots you should never be talking to, ever, about anything, because they're too dumb to be brought up to speed. They're still running their Delta November program, which is to pretend like nothing's happening and only ask Democrats for stuff, right?
All right, MOT,
So
let's
which one of
continue.
those points on the agenda are being met right now within this administration?
They're not being met, but they are being met at the state level.
Okay. They're not being met, but they are being met at the state level.
Unreal. There we go.
The question, AB Media, which one of those things are being met by the Trump administration? Answer, they're not being met, but they're being met at the state level. Okay.
Where?
Kentucky.
That sounds like a liberal area. I swear, bro, these people will say anything. They will say any fucking thing. They will say any goddamn thing. Dude, they don't care. They don't care. Bro, these people will say anything because they don't know anything. And that's what I mean. If you disagree with the Black Manosphere, please invite these people up to your show and have them discuss their politics. They will have no problem making an enormous ass out of themselves.
MOT, please continue. Please continue.
Well, this is about to get extremely good.
Oh my gosh, please continue.
This is about to get extremely good. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, and I'm aware it doesn't have the black people's name on it, whatever. But
Yeah, but there are federal and state issues on that 19-point agenda.
Sure.
At the federal level, which one of those items on the agenda are being met by the administration?
But hold on, but why does the federal level only matter?
Because that's what Black men who voted for this administration, that's what they base their vote on, right? Their interest. So if their interest is on that 19-point agenda and on the federal items on that agenda, which one of those items are being met?
Okay, I understand that.
Okay, you don't understand that. The question was, what was being met on the federal level? You said nothing. AB Media said nothing. Mike asked what was being done on the state level. AB Media just said Kentucky, and he couldn't tell what was it. And also, he doesn't know. I just want to keep that clear while these people are playing dumb about the questions that, remember, they believe in this agenda, but when asked what's being done with the agenda, they can't answer the question.
Unreal.
Right? I'm not going to argue against it, but at the same time, if it's not,
you're not going to argue against it, but you're arguing against it. Why are you here? Why are you here?
You cannot
the feds
make
at least it's being done by the state.
Yeah, but that's not what they're voting for. They didn't vote for this administration in Washington, D.C. to do stuff at the state level. You vote.
No,
at
I
the state
get
level to
it.
do
I'm
things
not
at the state
arguing
level.
against that.
Yeah, but we're talking
That's
about
true, but we know politicians lie. So
What the fuck? So now we at this non sequitur that all politicians lie. Like, get this motherfucker off the goddamn panel, bro. This is what I mean by you got these stupid motherfuckers who just don't understand how shit works, right? And they get cornered with very simple and basic questions. And then it's just, oh, well, politicians lie. Oh, well, it's time to walk away from the conversation. Like, no, dude, You shouldn't be up here. You shouldn't be up here. I can't talk to you about politics. If you're this stupid, I can't talk to you about politics. I'm sorry. It is kicking you off of the conversation. Gone, I swear. Whenever these dudes say something this dumb, there's only one solution. There's only one solution.
The death of any Viltrumite leaves a void in me.
That's how that's handled.
Launch
off.
their ass.
Get them off the panel. Good day, sir. Thanks for your time, sir. Don't bump
Please.
your head on them satellites while I send you out there. Please don't bump your head. Let's keep going.
Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but we're talking about the federal, right? This is the argument about the federal. The argument is that's not about the state. That's what that's what MOT's argument is. Right?
Federally, yes, people voted for Trump because I guess they thought he was going to be more in line with men, I guess. But at the same time, even though he's not really doing that at a federal level, okay, cool, that's what MOT is talking about. But him saying things like it doesn't work or what black men are doing doesn't make any sense. That's just not true.
But it would be true if you aligned your interests at the federal level. So that's what black women are doing. But in this conversation, black women are being chastised for it. But when you ask black men what their interests are at the federal level,
when did I chastise black women during the stream?
That's exactly what your memes are. Your memes about Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, all those are memes aimed at.
I've done like 2 or 3 memes about Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris.
You did a meme, but you did the meme though. That's all that matters.
Actually, you know what? I'm glad you brought them up. Okay, so since you brought them up, what have they done or represented and done for?
It's only black women that has to answer questions. They never ask what the fucking Republicans do about nothing.
So that's never the question.
They're never about the Republicans. They don't understand the Republicans said, we're not bringing up no reparations. We're not even voting on this shit. It don't even matter what the Republican Party does. It's always, and look, I don't care what Jasmine Crockett does. She's in Texas. I don't live in Texas. But I do see when she be on these actual panels going after Marjorie Taylor Greene, another ratchet, resigned from the House because her presidential partner threatened her little son or whatever, and she left.
Yep.
25 came in worth 750,000, left worth 25 million.
$25 million.
Yeah, but who's worried about that? We're just worried about what Jasmine Crockett is. Like Jasmine Crockett is the only person in Congress who has to answer for their track record. Just Jasmine Crockett. You see, when BGS does this, when T.S.I. Johnson does this, like these dumb idiots actually think that they're cooking right now by asking Jasmine Crockett, a person who lost her primary, by the way, what has she ever done for black men or people? And it's like, oh my God, she's not the only person in Congress. Not the only person, but that's the only person that they're centered on because they can't have a conversation about politics unless they're actually talking bad about black women. Period. And then they want everything that black women actually organize for to be spent on their dumb ass. No.
For black women on the federal level.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you would have to go. I mean, for one, Jasmine Crockett represents Texas. She doesn't represent the whole country.
Okay.
Right? But she represents Texas in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Kamala Harris was the attorney general and the senator of California. So she looked out for California's interests.
Where BGS and T.S.I. Johnson lives.
So what about all the black men though?
Huh?
What about all the arrests with black men and all that stuff?
But that's been debunked.
Wait a minute. Not just the arrests of black men. Remember, she locked up single mothers too for truancy.
No, that's been debunked already. That's been long debunked.
When? How?
By who?
You see how they just boomerang back to just trying to blame black women for shit? Shit's been debunked. When? How?
And now you have to bring them up to speed on their ignorance.
And now you got to bring Delta Novembers up to speed.
On this subject. That's been grossly talked about all over and has been debunked a couple of years ago. But these guys are not knowledgeable of this and are trying to make a legitimate argument out of it. That's how out of it these clowns are. But anyway, go ahead, MOT.
it always has to boomerang back to throwing a black woman under the bus somewhere in order for them to be part of the political conversation. That's what BGS and TSI Johnson breeds with these level of Delta November.
And this is
By
not.
who?
It's been debunked by fact checkers, and political fact checkers have debunked this already. That's been long debunked years ago. That's why you don't hear anybody making that argument anymore. That doesn't work.
Okay, I haven't.
The question about this conversation that you're having right now about MOT, my question initially was, which argument that MOT has made in the 40 minutes that you've listened to that you disagree with?
Very specific question. Let's see how the Delta Novembers answer.
No,
Okay. So the one I could give is like he's making it. I disagree with the fact that he's making it seem that black men wanting to have their own interests served, but you
never said what your interests are. Everything in that 20 never said what your interests are, right? So if you keep trying to actually boomerang back toward the 19-point agenda, that is an emotional document full of complaints, which are financial complaints. These are non-productive complaints. TSI Johnson said that he's going to get a Montgomery GI Bill for just black men and black men only. You're going to get a Montgomery GI Bill for people who's not military based. Where the fuck do you get off thinking that you're going to get something like that done? But then again, they want something that has their name on it. And he knows how stupid these people are to think that that's how they think politics work. But they don't understand that just because you hang around 100% black people, that doesn't mean the country is 100% black. That's not how it works. You still have to go out here and get your interests aligned with other people. And if you can't coalition build, then your stuff's never going to be done. And if you disconnected yourself away from the political process, and the only thing you want to do is try to ride the ass of people who have politically organized, dude, don't nobody need you as an actual group of people to actually be. No. You don't let political freeloaders just come through and just ride on what you're doing. Like, these people are ignorant as fuck. They don't even know what's happening.
MOT.
They don't know.
Let's continue on with the Delta Novembers.
Yeah.
as themselves is a problem. Somehow we need to just represent the Democratic Party. But if black women do it, it's okay. That's what I'm not understanding.
Well, I mean, I think he's taking black men to task, right? So if we're going to take like for like, we have to look at.
Okay, what I'm taking you to task for is not picking a side and organizing within that side. That's the only part of this conversation. Not a very hard thing. It's very easy. Pick a side, operate within that side that you pick. Don't talk about all this shit when you live in a liberal area. No. Pick a side, operate within the side that you pick. Period. That's all you need to do. Asians, they both pick both sides. Latinos, they both pick both sides. Okay? And they operate within that side. They come together when it makes sense. They separate when it doesn't make sense. And that's the way it is. It's just that, look, if you're not on the left, then you're voting against the left. If you're not on the right, then you're voting against the interests of the right. But everybody seems to be anti-Democratic Party and anti-Democratic Party only, which makes them on the right, which I don't have a problem with, but go organize on the side that your ass is on. Stop trying to have these Delta November-based conversations. It doesn't make any sense. Let's keep going.
What black men are doing in the manosphere, look at what black men are or who that black men are voting for at the federal level, right? This administration is who they voted for in this space. And yet the economy is in shambles. None of the 19 points on the agenda are being met by this administration. You have black men within the party that are being ignored and pushed out of the office right now as we speak. And there's no criticism of this. Where's the memes about Byron Donalds and Wesley Hunt?
But okay, and this is my problem. Hold on, this is my problem. Y'all can't do you can't stop doing that where you say, oh, we're the memes about this. Y'all don't even call out your own bullshit. Nobody does that. Nobody calls out their own party's bullshit. Nobody does.
Now, he's not on the left and he's not on the right, but he wants people to exclusively call out the left. This is the person that you just get off the panel. Now, for instance, in the chat, we have Wacky Word O. Wacky Word O is not aligned with any party. Okay? Wacky Word O is actually in the middle. Also with Wacky Word O, Wacky Word O doesn't keep his mouth shut when people do racist shit. Like getting rid of the Voting Rights Act. Somebody who's quote unquote in the middle, in black, wouldn't let that shit ride. But to these Delta Novembers, they always have to find a way to boomerang back into throwing black women under the bus and never holding the right responsible. That's the problem with fake people who are in the middle versus real people who are in the middle. These people don't even know anything about either side. While being in the middle is twice the job, where you have to actually understand what everybody's doing and make a choice. But then you have these fake middle of the roaders that poison the middle of the road shit by only wanting criticism for Democrats and Democrats only. That's not a true person that's in the middle. That person's on the side. Yes, he's on the right. He don't want to take responsibility for the arguments of being on the right, but he want to use all the talking points of the right. He want to use all the anti-black woman, which is anti-black in general, talking points. Unbelievable. But then again, he's so angry. What are you angry about? You're not even on the side. And you just want to hear criticism about Democrats. Man, go F yourself. You live in Boston. You live in the Boston area. All this talking is doing live in the Boston area. There's only one Republican in history that has done something about health care. And his name was Mitt Romney. And he did it in the state where you live. But they can't seem to get a plan across the country. And the Affordable Care Act is the plan for Massachusetts across the country. It's a Republican plan. And they're still not on board with it.
Well, it actually was taken from Edward Kennedy. Yeah. And then who's a Democrat. Then Mitt
Who would have
Romney,
been the greatest president ever if he had made it? He would have been the greatest president ever.
He may have been. He may have been, but Chappaquiddick got him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Mitt Romney then went and grabbed it because he was, kind of a middle of the road, more left-leaning Republican than you have now. You had that's when the
backed by a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
I only trust Republicans who were backed by a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate.
That's
how you got Schwarzenegger in California. Had a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate.
That is correct. And mighty funny, both of them are out of the Republic, the mainstream Republican Party today. And that's not an accident.
No. Keep going.
But what is the bullshit?
Yeah, really.
Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, why don't we see? Listen, I agree with you. Okay, people should criticize what they weren't given, but I see way more people on the conservative side that will criticize Trump, will do that versus Democrats when they have a Democrat in office. They all just stick up and put together. So that don't even make sense because everybody that's so-called conservative, I'm not a conservative, but just looking at conservative groups, they don't all agree.
Again, he want to hear more criticism of Democrats. Motherfucker, you are a conservative.
What the
you
hell
are
is
conservative.
What is
the standpoint that you talking from? He just want to hear more criticism of Democrats. That means your ass is not on the left. Your ass is on the right. You don't want to take responsibility for their arguments. You don't want to take responsibility for their history. And hell, I wouldn't either. Right? But at the end of the day, how could you be so angry and upset when you live under the exact protection of the party that you won't criticize? You live in Massachusetts. You don't like that shit? You can go to New Hampshire. You can go to Maine. It ain't that far away from Mass. Less than 3 or 4 hour drive. But here's the thing. They want to live around that liberal shit and they want to complain about it. They want to hear criticism about it. Listen, these people are political non-participants. They just want to hear Democrats be ished on while letting the Republican Party completely off the hook with everything. Ridiculous.
Agree. But so it's not just one monument of like, oh, they just all think that Trump is great. No,
but that's not the argument, though. The argument here is that
what we voted for.
This guy in office was the lesser of two evils. This is what AB Media said. This is the lesser of two evils.
Absolutely.
Now, if he's
he was either him or Drunk, aka he was the lesser of two evils.
If he's the lesser of two evils, then what do you have right now?
You have an economy that was inherited because people, for some reason, don't understand that the presidents are only there for what, 4 years a term? Yeah. So who stays there? Supreme Court and all these other people? So aren't they really the people that are more important than the president? That's why, me personally, I don't care about the president like that. He does his little thing. Oh, Trump, he says this. He's talking about green. That's cool. But who's allowing this person to do these things?
Not only do we have a Republican president, we have a Republican House and a Republican Senate and a Republican judiciary. Why on earth did this guy not know and understand that Trump isn't just running wild? He's doing the Republican thing because his party is in charge of everything. But he's having these dumbass conversations like he doesn't understand that. So now you have to play Delta. Let's bring this dumbass up to speed with what's actually happening in the country because he don't care about the president. When the president literally holds all the reins to all the power in the actual country, and he's denying the fact that he's actually understanding that. Like, I don't understand that. That's when you should have kicked this dude off the panel. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have time for people who this dumb, this fucking dumb. How can you be this dumb? Not understanding that Trump isn't just doing what he's doing in a vacuum. All levels of power are in the hands of the Republicans. And the country did that on purpose. How is it he doesn't see that? See, he still wants Democrats to be criticized, even when Democrats don't run anything. This is what I mean, that these dudes are running a simulation. They don't even care about what's happening. They just want to hear the Democrats get criticized while they live in Democratic areas. I say you should fire these people. I say you should get them the hell up out of your actual city. Do not let these people work for government. Do not hire these people. They're threatening, endangering anything. You should purge any person who's a conservative away from government resources. They should not be drawing a check from the state and don't even believe in the actual system that actually allows them to be in that position. Even when I was working for the federal government, you had a bunch of conservatives that never wanted to support the union, but always used the union the most. The biggest political freeloaders. Unbelievable. Let's hear this ignorant person just keep talking.
It's the Supreme Court.
Let's take one argument at a time.
Okay, all right.
Go, who runs the Supreme Court?
The Republicans.
So why did he just say that he didn't understand all of that when it's a very specific group of people who runs everything?
Just listen to
what it is so what it is say stupid things and bring me up to speed. Say stupid things and bring me up to speed. I'm sorry, I got a crowbar with some rebar on it for your actual remedial course. No, I will not be having this conversation with you. And if I am, it's going to be that talking ass whooping type conversation.
I just didn't vote for Trump. That's all I'm saying. I didn't vote for him.
I'm not. My argument is not against you. It's against AB Media.
Okay.
Trump came into office in 2017 and inherited an impeccable economy. Okay.
Watch them disagree with that. Watch them disagree with it.
That's not true. That is not true.
That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true.
No, it's not. We have not had an impeccable economy since the goddamn 70s.
When you have somebody on who says we haven't had an impeccable economy since the 1970s, since the 1970s, bro, since the 1970s,
this is what
the death of any Viltrumite leaves a void in me.
Off the panel. You gotta go. Why are you here? We haven't had an impeccable economy since the 1970s, and you're supposed to bring this dumbass motherfucker up to speed? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Oh my Lord, Jesus Christ!
This just said we didn't have an impeccable economy since the 1970s.
This is what you got walking through the Manosphere.
No, I'm talking about relative to what you have right now was impeccable compared to what Trump left it with. Okay, Trump came in, there was a JCPOA, there was a strong emerging economy coming from Biden.
Where?
Wait. Yeah, where? In what sector?
You had plus positive growth between 2012 and 2016.
Okay, growth of what?
They don't even know what's going on. Okay, so they don't know. They're brought up to speed, and then they want to heckle the answer. Now, you would think they would just shut the fuck up and just take the information, right? Not only do they not know, you bring them up to speed and they still argue with you.
These are the inveterate morons we're sitting here talking with. Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
I mean, I don't understand how Mike sat through this running marathon, but he did it anyway. He did it anyway.
Anyway.
God. And it's good that he stayed up here because it shows that the factual information was coming from one place. And they either wanted Democrats lambasted, they wanted black women being thrown under the bus, or they just outright denied the information that was coming out of somebody's mouth, even though that they didn't know. Now, if you didn't know anything about the economy, it's your job to bring it up to speed. This dude is asking what sector of the economy was doing well. And it's like the whole economy was doing well. There wasn't a sector or another that was doing well. The entire economy was doing well. So what are you talking about?
No. He came with a couple other extraordinary doozies. I mean, this guy's a real clown. But anyway, I understand what he was trying to do. He was ultimately trying to protect those other guys. But this is what you get. This is a standard in the Manosphere. Go ahead.
And I keep telling people, you think the Manosphere is a threat? The black Manosphere is causing people elections? Please believe. Invite these ignorant people on. Talk to them. And if you ain't trying to rip your microphone out of socket while listening to these ignorant ass people, you ain't doing your job right. These people ain't got no power. They don't even know what's happening. And then they live under the very liberalism that they want to disconnect. And then when liberals are not running anything, they still blaming the Democratic Party.
Totally.
They're not even running anything.
Totally out of it. Totally.
So now they're going to pretend like the Trump economy that we have right now has been a steady thing when we know we wasn't paying $5 or me $6.50 to almost $7 a gallon for diesel. And they want to pretend that that doesn't have an effect on how expensive every single thing is in society. So now they're going to pretend that they don't know anything about the economy at all and that there was never a good economy.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Go for the national economy.
Okay, that's during Obama.
No. See, I'm talking about specific. What did he grow? The GDP? Like, what are we talking about?
You have everything across the board. You can look at Obama's track record. You can look at Obama's track record because not one Republican disagreed with Obama's recovery. Not one.
Okay, that's cool.
So we know that the economy was doing good. Trump was handed. Hold on a second. I'm laying out the argument for you. Trump was handed
Obama.
Let him go.
Trump was handed a good economy, and then he crumbled the economy by 2019. If you go back and look at the voter exit polls, when you had the truckers and logistics people across the country and the manufacturers in your own state of Indiana, Trump's big hallmark achievement was bringing back manufacturing. He brought back Carrier to Indiana. Harriet got $1 billion to bring back manufacturing to Indiana. After 9 months or not after 13 months, they were out of Indiana and they went to Mexico. Those jobs left. That was Trump's big hallmark achievement. Now, from that point, the economy started to slide. By 2020, it was in shambles because they did not prepare the country to deal with the pandemic. By the time Biden got into office in 2021, the economy was in shambles. Gas prices were up, and they were trying to fix the inflation. They were trying to fix the inflation. Oh, absolutely, the economy was bad. That's why they call it Bidenomics. Okay, you can go look at CNBC. We've covered this already. I don't know why you're trying to argue against it when the data and the reports have been out there for a long time.
We live in this country. We experience it. We don't need polls and none of that. That's all.
Experience is different than data. Anybody can experience. But the thing is,
so you're telling me, hold on. So you're telling me that Obama, he made a good.
So he doesn't understand the economy. He doesn't understand what to look at to see that the economy is good and bad. What they want to do is they just want to filibuster what Mike is saying from a standpoint of not having any data. The dude's saying that, look, I don't need data. I have feelings and experience.
That's all he's saying. He's saying he doesn't have any data. He can't back up his argument. What he's trying to do now is create another straw man to say, oh, this is not true, and let's move on without one shred of proof coming from him. Just feelings.
Unreal.
Economy, all this crap. So we're just going to forget about when he did Obamacare being mandatory. They just fucked up all the hours. We're going to forget about how all this manufacturing did not start leaving just now with Trump. They've been doing this, especially since the 90s. It's not just Trump. That's what I'm saying. It's not just the president. Oh, Trump just did. He's literally going down a guideline of what the country has been doing for the past 100 years. He's not doing nothing different. This is why I don't understand why people.
He's making he's not right now. He has been sidetracked, thrown off his game. He is now fumbled into the realm of gobbledygook and absolute irrelevance. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
What is he talking about? Like, Trump hasn't done anything different than anybody else done in 100 years. What is he talking about?
It's almost like a man having a stroke. He cannot respond. He has no idea what he's talking about at this stage. He's off the track. He's done. A Delta November crash out. That is exactly what you were exhibiting.
ABC, right, another BGS crash out. This dude being presented with factual information, don't believe it. Nothing's changed in 100 years. Yada yada yada. People losing hours because there was health care. Well, the South didn't get the Affordable Care Act, so that means the economy should have been doing better in the South than anywhere else, right? Wrong.
But he says other incredibly stupid things that are just here. And remember, you have to understand his argument now is not about defending or coming up with any factual information, but trying to do his best to protect AB Media and BGS the best that he can with no information, but throwing out a lot of chaff to sidetrack everything that Mike has talked about. He is no longer on the same track as Mike. That he's off. He's somewhere else trying to throw chaff to throw everyone else off from there as well. The argument is officially over. It's over at this point. But anyway,
no, this is off the hook. That's what's happening. That's just off the hook. What is going on here?
It's a device that people use to try to sidetrack and throw you off when you can no longer defend your position. He has no defense of his position. In fact, he has now left his position, moved out, and has thrown a whole bunch of other chaff up in the air to derail the conversation.
And guess what? They didn't bring any type of facts to the conversation, but they're arguing against somebody who's data driven. as part of the conversation. That's why you bring these people in, you ask them historical questions, and then you get them out of there. Because you're dealing with somebody who's not interested in progress. They don't even have a baseline level of information for you to challenge. You're supposed to bring all the information. And the moment you bring the information, you got to be screamed down by somebody who don't know shit. Okay, let's keep going.
People are going crazy over Trump. He is not doing anything different that America has not already done. America goes through boom and bust. So what?
How many people left Trump's cabinet in the first administration?
Way too damn many.
Does that sound like a good administration?
No, I'm not saying it's a good administration. I don't like Trump.
Wait a minute.
You don't like Trump, but you're arguing against Democrats, which makes you a Republican, which makes you like Trump. What's going on?
I mean, you're listening to this as it went down. Unreal.
I was gonna jump up there, but I was like, "Nah, Mike, you got it."
I'm not saying you are.
And even Trump said it. Even Trump said he screwed up during his first administration.
You think that screwing up was a good economy? That's what I'm saying. Your argument doesn't make sense. People don't. People are not leaving.
Knows he went off of Biden and went back to Obama because he can't defend what Biden's economy.
But this is the thing.
I've already done that on the Black Brain.
But this is the thing.
For the John guy, how can you have all these disagreements when you don't even have a side pick?
Once again, this guy is he literally is just running off at the mouth, trying to protect his people here. The argument is over.
Yeah, it's over. And it's going to be further over when you prove that somebody haven't done any live streams about the executive orders, and some people have.
Oh my gosh, let's not get it.
Oh yeah.
God. Well,
oh yeah, we get into that.
Go ahead.
The argument is that what AB's making. We've already covered this, and you're on record for getting on our panel and saying, I'm not gonna lie, the numbers look good. You can't now argue in 2026, which you argued back in 2023. That doesn't make any sense, AB Media. What you're doing now is you're lying. You're lying on the record.
How am I lying?
Because you came on our panel when we presented you the numbers, and you said, I'm not gonna lie, the numbers look good. So you can't now.
By 2024, the numbers didn't look good at all.
Yeah, but the economy, regardless, was still moving in the trending upward direction. It's called a bull run.
Grocery prices were high in 2024.
Yeah, but they all of a sudden came down in January. We all know what happened. There was a cause and effect between what was happening in Ukraine and what was happening.
War started by Joe Biden.
He didn't start anything. The Americans didn't.
A war started by Joe Biden, the Ukraine war.
I mean, you understand. You understand how ridiculous this conversation is getting at this point.
This is what they do. Like they can't handle the factual information, so they just start galloping and just pulling things off the shelves and just breaking it in the aisles, so that way you can't even walk. That's all it is, man.
Go into Russia. The Russians went into Ukraine. That's a whole different conversation.
No, actually,
Ukraine got involved. He still got involved.
Remember
what happened?
That is exactly what happened. AB Media.
What do you mean that's not what happened?
You have to go back to the 90s when the Soviet Union fell.
What does that have to do with?
Hold on, man. Let me finish. NATO promised not to intrude on Russia's border. NATO slowly, over the last 30 years, has intruded on Russia's border, and they put some equipment in Ukraine. On top of the fact, the other reason Russia went in there is because Ukraine was killing Russian citizens.
But that doesn't have anything to do with Biden.
Okay, so what AB Media left out. Now, there's something that AB Media left out here that I want to talk about. AB Media forgot about how Russia went into Georgia and took Georgia.
But hold it, MOT.
Forgot
the whole
about
thing.
Totally
the whole thing here is we're not even talking about the ridiculous type of argument that he just came up with, which is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even relate to the situation that we're talking about right now. He's trying to move a different goalpost in a different area to try to make a point because he is so out of the realm right now. He's not even in the ballpark with respect to this argument. This argument's been over a long time ago, but here he is throwing up chaff to try to act like he's making a cogent comment when the man is actually up in here babbling like the monkey that he is. A fucking monkey is up in here right now making monkey noises in a legitimate debate that he cannot handle.
Yeah,
that's
but
that's
what
what
happens
you're
when you
dealing with.
get trapped though, and they act as if Russia didn't go take Georgia during the Obama administration. Like they act like that didn't happen, which made them want to up things by actually moving resources closer to Ukraine. If Russia wouldn't have never taken Georgia, there would be no overage that needed to be done on the other side.
You see, all these are facts, but that's not
Yeah.
that's not what this guy is dealing with here. He's trying to figure out a way. I'm floundering. I'm done here. How do I come about? And I call these guys up. I call them dumb and stupid. Here they are right here, making me look like the veritable inveterate monkey that I am. How do I finish off this thing without crashing out and going crazy? Of which that will be his only option by the end of this. That will be his only option. That's it.
I mean, man, but how? Man, I love calling people dumb and idiots, man. Y'all, these people make it easy. I mean, I'm trying to be respectful, but damn, man, these dudes just.
You can't.
This was an unneeded conversation. This conversation didn't need to happen. Again, another unforced error.
Animals, for crying out loud. What are we talking about here? I mean, these guys are operating. These guys are operating at a. I don't even want to say, but they're not operating at the same level that somebody like a Mike V is operating at, who is coming here and trying to have actually a literal veritable conversation with them, of which they are woefully unprepared to have.
I would rather listen to a mosquito explain to me why they want to suck my blood than this. I would rather want to listen.
I mean, this is incredible. But anyway, continue, MOT. Continue.
Does that have anything to do with Biden? You're trying to blame him for something. You're trying to blame him for a war that he did not start. The Russians started the war, right? The Russians launched a forced attack, right? They've already admitted to this, that they had to go in there. They called it a special operation, right? So why are you bringing up Biden about what Russians are doing, what the Russians are doing in Ukraine? Doesn't make any sense.
They funded Ukraine.
Huh?
They funded Ukraine.
Everybody funded Ukraine. Everybody funded Ukraine. It's called FMF. Foreign military financing.
We sent over $300 billion over there.
Not to them. The people didn't get it. That went to the military contractors. But see, you're not necessarily telling the whole story, because you're trying to paint this picture as if Biden was just such a bad guy, we had to get him out of here, and Trump was a great guy, and that he's a lesser of two evils. And now
I don't think anybody was saying that.
No. AB Media did say this. Okay, that's what I'm hitting them on. Right? So now you have this evil that's happening right now, and you're not covering it at all. You know why you're not covering it? Because you can't defend it.
What are you talking about?
But wait, that's not true, because I see AB Media always make
no, there's no critical analysis
claims about Trump doing dumb shit.
It doesn't matter if you voted for him. It doesn't matter if you say that he's the lesser of two evils. It doesn't matter if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. When your whole platform is anti-democratic, it literally doesn't matter. But let's hear this Delta November keep on.
This is bad.
Oh yeah.
I see it all. That's what I see.
That's talking in passing. Where's the critical analysis?
But what do you mean? He's giving you the critical analysis.
Question. And this dude is trying to snap on his rhino horn and just trying to bust through these walls, man.
He's seen Trump do stuff and say, I agree with this, I don't agree with this. But the irony is, like I said earlier,
do you think a meme that you're seeing on screen right now, you think that's critical analysis?
Yeah, dude, everyone makes memes. That's not an argument.
Hey,
That's not an argument.
Hold on, wait a minute. All right, everybody, slow down.
That's what
Pay attention to what I'm saying in the meme. He's being a puppet of Israel.
A meme is not a critical analysis. You don't have a critical analysis of what's happening right now that you voted for.
But he's already made.
See how quickly he took that meme off the screen.
I mean,
Luciano
that was his response. That was his response. Yes. That was his response. You cannot make this up. You can't make this up. That's what I'm saying. The argument is over. These guys, they don't have an argument. The argument's over. It's been over. But anyway.
They're gone. Let's take this down for a second, man. It's almost like let's just quick. And I hate to do this at the expense of getting the stream flagged. But
no. We don't want to flag the stream, please. We don't want this.
No. But I need to show something. Like every time this dude talks, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. I am seeing this. Yes, I'm just running into the conversation. Nicole, he's just running into the conversation. This is what he's doing. That's him. He just running into the conversation. This dude just jumped up on the panel. Look at him. What the fuck is he running for? That's him. Just running his fucking mouth. Look at this nigga. He's just running his fucking mouth. Like that's what he's doing. He's fucking running. What the fuck is this? He's just fucking running. No matter what the conversation is, the nigga's just.
What is this?
What is he running for? He's not even on the side. He's not even on the side.
Oh my god! Oh my god! This is unreal. This is unreal.
Why is he on the panel? Why is he on the panel, bro?
I told you he's there. He's there. The argument's over. He's there to protect. He's there to protect some people. That's what he's done.
That dude just came out the back like the ultimate warrior, running like a motherfucker. It's like truth is being told. Mike B. spoken.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Haven't picked the side. You got to now Democrats.
This is unreal.
What's going on? Why are you talking? You don't have a side pick. What's happening?
Unreal.
Why are you here? Why are you here?
Unreal, brother. Unreal.
Let's just keep going, man. It's just God.
Unreal.
Extreme. That's what I say. People make memes all the time. That's not getting away from the fact that he doesn't get by Trump.
Sean,
yeah, where's the evidence I haven't been critical of Trump? I want to hear this.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't get by
Trump. Where's the critical analysis? Critical analysis is different than having memes.
He's not just doing me. This is what I'm telling you. I don't know
where is the evidence?
Listen, I don't know how much you watch his stuff. I watch his.
Keep asking for critical analysis, and this dude doesn't even have an answer to the question.
He has no answer. His mouth is running.
Nothing.
His mouth is running like a garbage disposal.
Ultimate AB media. And it's like as soon as Mike asks him for proof, all you hear is down, 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 down. That's all you hear.
That's
Every
it.
time. Every
That's it.
time. Now watch. Now watch. Watch the rest of this, man.
Stuff here and there, and I have seen him multiple times
No.
make streams about the Conservative Party and Trump stupid shit. Now here's the irony. Like I said earlier,
He doesn't understand that Mike B is asking for critical analysis about things that are going right, not critical analysis about things that are going wrong. Remember, you voted for this guy, right? That's what the critical analysis that Mike is talking about. Not just adding, oh yeah, man, well things ain't going right. Like, yeah, everybody know things ain't going right. But you voted for this guy. Which means what's your critical analysis of things that's going right? But every time he's talking,
This is a laugh Olympics. This
I'm
is
just
unbelievable.
like I said, the political conversation is over.
It's been over. Let's continue. Let's continue. Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
I have openly said for months, literally 4 or 5 months now, if the Republicans don't address health care and housing prices,
The party that protects capitalism, the party that has not actually done anything about healthcare since 2008, after you voted for, is somehow going to address that between now and the election, with a Republican House, a Republican Senate, a Republican Supreme Court, and a Republican Judiciary. How much more power and time do you need to address those issues?
Wow.
Remember, he voted for this.
Continue, MOT. Continue.
Unreal.
they're going to lose in 2026. I've said that for months.
What was the Republican alternative?
And if you were paying attention earlier,
No.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me finish, Mike. If you heard me earlier, on paper, right now, Republicans are going to get their ass whooped in 2026.
Yeah, even CV Wonder can see that. That's not critical analysis.
Bingo. Say it again, Mike. That's not critical analysis, saying the obvious. You voted for these people. You voted for these people to do something very specific. They turned around and did something very generalized, which is not what you wanted. Now you want to say, oh, well, you know what? If they don't handle those things, they're going to get voted out. It's like, no, but you put them in there. You put them in there. You put them in there.
Yeah.
I don't know why he made a meme of him not having a nappy ass head, but that shit is some false advertising, man. You know, damn well you want to. It's like, dude, we talking about a dude who had a fresh lineup and a naughty ass motherfucking head in the same fucking photo, and he put that shit on his community tab. This dude looked like he fucking American Werewolf in fucking Indiana and had the nerve to start talking shit about black women after he fucking did that shit. God damn it. All right, let's keep going. The only fresh hairline and naughty head nigga I have ever seen in my fucking life. I have never seen anything like that at all. And it was a real photo.
Okay, bro.
Yeah. Where's the replace and repeal of Obamacare? He's been saying that since 2016. Where's it at? You know why there's nothing, and you know why you can't answer that question? Because even they don't have. I'm not talking to you, John. Please.
You think John can answer that fucking question? Where's the Republican plan?
No.
You really think John can answer that question?
No.
Come on, dude.
No.
Come on, John.
Even they don't have the answer to that. So your idea of, well, if Republicans don't fix the economy by November, they're not going to fix the economy. They never had any intention on doing that. They're not even working right now.
No shit.
Yeah, you're not covering that though. You're not covering the fact that Republican Congress is not working. Okay, they haven't worked in a year. They're not doing anything. They're doing everything through executive order through the White House.
Okay, and if they lose in 2026, that ain't my problem.
You don't have any critical analysis of that. That's the point that I'm making.
If they lose in 2026, that's not my problem.
But you voted for them to do something. Now if they lose, it don't matter? Come on, man. That's not critical analysis of the party that you elected.
problem. That's my critical analysis.
That's not a critical analysis. Okay, that's not a critical analysis. So before you mention my name or MOTs or the Black Brain Trust, yeah, because you don't have any analysis. You can't debate your own talking points. That's the problem here. Whether it's myself, whether it's MOT, whether it's code breakers, you can't debate anybody.
All y'all do is anything all day. What's there?
But you have no critical analysis, AB Media. You have nothing. You can't cover the jobs numbers because they stopped reporting the jobs numbers.
Watch what he says here. AB Media, I mean.
Because it was so bad.
Everybody lies about the job, though. Joe Biden knows.
Oh,
everybody lies.
There you go.
This
there you go. I mean. Eliminate the facts. Don't even talk. Eliminate it to stay on it. Eliminate the facts now. Don't even talk about that. Let's get that out of here.
This is like a Delta November easy pass. It's just you know how that arm just goes up so as you drop up close. Oh, Delta November, man, just let them through.
Yes, everybody lies about job numbers.
Trump.
Everybody knows Joe Biden.
This is what I'm saying. It's like,
Joe Biden did it too. Stop it, Mike.
That's what I like. This is
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, he does it too.
The job numbers were so bad. He knows that they're bad. So
number two. Hold on. Let me just say this.
You haven't heard Trump talk about drill, baby, drill. You know why? Because that strategy doesn't work.
Boom. Remember how we were supposed to be drilling all this oil? We're supposed to have so much oil that we're going to get tired of winning via oil. Watch what this dude says to that specific point.
An incredible.
These are not. You don't hear him talking about tariffs anymore because tariffs don't work. But you know who did cover that in the Manosphere in November of 2024? The Black Brain Trust. Okay, we covered all.
No, it's not my fault. Y'all ran a drunk, aka slept away to the top.
We're not talking about Kamala Harris. We're talking about Trump.
You see that?
So you have no critical analysis. Neither you or BGS. You don't have a critical analysis. The only thing that you have is memes.
Okay, that's crazy to say about BGS. That's crazy.
Oh, BGS is easy.
This dude came off of mute to protect BGS's little soul.
That's why he's there.
Unbelievable. He said a run interference.
That's why the political argument has been over for quite a while, but that's why they're there now. That's the only reason why they're there at this point.
That's right. God, these people, man.
He knows not. BGS says I don't even know why y'all bring him up.
John got to come to the defense of this fucking Itmore. Shit, you ain't gonna be talking about BGS about like that. Shit, BGS covered everything. You mean between the Delta November Ask Me Anything and the trolling of black women and passport bros, right? He covered all of it, right? He's right about everything.
My Lord. Anyway, continue.
Again, these are the children of the Itmore.
More like children of the corn. But anyway, let's keep moving.
Children of the corn cob. Come on. There's no corn on that cob there.
I don't even know why y'all bring him up. Y'all can't fuck with him.
No, I'll take it back.
Cut it off.
You're wrong, Daddy. You're wrong, Daddy. You're wrong, Daddy. You're wrong, Daddy. That's why they bring him up.
Jesus. What the fuck was that supposed to mean?
That is the only response he had. He had to evolve to that because there was nothing else he could say. Nothing. It had to go there. The political argument was over. Now it had to devolve into madness, ridiculousness, and memes. Because what else is a monkey like that gonna have? What else? I mean, yeah, this is where we are with this stuff.
Good Lord.
Here's what I'll leave you with, man, because it's obvious that you're incapable of defending the Trump administration.
What?
I mean, I don't know why he even. I don't even know why he's
Hold
Hold
I
on.
openly said I don't agree with
Hold on.
what the Trump administration is doing right now. Where have you been, motherfucker?
Say that one more time.
Where have
See
you
that?
been, motherfucker? I've openly said I don't agree with what the Trump administration is doing right now.
You elected them. You voted for them.
Argument is officially over at the
Over.
The meme. It's over. It's
The
done.
meme
It's finished. It's
The meme
it's finished.
machine.
It's finished. It's finished.
The meme machine. Unbelievable. You voted for the guy. What? What, you gonna do left-wing analysis after you fucking voted for him? That ain't no motherfucking critical analysis. You put this dude in office. You gotta take responsibility for it. There's shit going wrong. Like, this is what these dudes don't understand, right? Oh, come on, man. Did they really age restrict another one of my anti-BGS videos? And it's just my anti-BGS video that they age restrict. Okay. I guess BGS, I guess that's the only thing you can do, right? But we're going to keep this going.
Right now.
But you voted for it anyways.
Yeah, and I admitted that shit.
Hold on.
Very good point, but you voted for it anyway. Nobody cares about your analysis. This is what you voted for. You got to own it.
Hold on. So
at least I have the balls to criticize who I vote for, unlike
that's
you.
what I'm saying. Why are we talking? We're talking about what already happened, right? Because politicians, all they can do is tell you what we're supposedly going to do. That's what people vote on. Okay, the nigga lied. He lied on a lot of stuff.
John, the difference
Trump has not done.
So, if what John is saying is true, how or why is he even talking on this live stream? If what he's saying is true, and I do believe him, it's just that how can you be this upset at Democrats not being criticized when they're not in office, but you want to criticize Trump, but you want to throw a little bit of criticism of Democrats in there when they don't run anything? They don't run anything. How do you want to hold them responsible when they don't run anything? They don't run anything. And they definitely don't run the South and the Midwest now. And that seemed to be okay that they got rid of that representation for black people. At least it was to get up here and try to heckle Mike through his actual analysis, and which is crazy. Keep going.
Anything different from any prior president. This is what I don't understand.
Here we go. We're going back to the talking point that everybody's the same. There's no difference between left or right. Okay, if there's no difference between left or right, how do we have a 100% Republican ran society and they ran it into the ground, just like they did in 2006? They had the House presidency, and I think it was 5-4 to Supreme Court, but they still had the House and the Senate, and they ran it into the ground then. Mortgage crisis.
Typical deflections and false equivalence. That's the game of the game.
Talk about no. That's true. Every single thing that is going on right now, Trump is in line with it because the federal government itself, the institution of the federal government, okay, they have been going in this direction forever.
Was Obama going into this direction? Was Biden going into this direction? You see, that's how they false equivalence things is they don't know what they're talking about. So they just jump off the top rope with a whole bunch of stuff. You know, they just run into the conversation, pack of hot dogs with wires coming out of their chest and a countdown timer. That's what these people are, man. You know, they just walk through the conversation, counting down.
Oh my
God! You supposed to want to? Why would nobody playing with me? Because dude, you have a countdown timer on, man. You have a countdown timer with a pack of Hillshire Farm stuck to your chest with some wires hanging out of it. And you got a countdown timer. And we can see that shit is 9, 8, 7. We diving behind shit for a reason, bro. We ain't dumb. We know what the fuck that means. What the fuck is going on, man? Nobody wants to play with me.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
and
boy.
And it just jumps off the top rope with both parties are the same. We've been doing the same thing for 100 years. What? And that's why you're here. Just to push that shit in here. When we're talking about a deliberate left or right thing. AB Media
Oh.
voted for Trump. Mike B voted for, I think, either the Green Party in the primary, and he has a lot of bandwidth where he can vote for the Green Party in the actual general election because his state works and operates fine. But you don't see him shitting on his actual state and pretending that he's in the middle like John is. I think John's from the same area as Mike B. But John is playing this, oh, nothing matters shit. Yeah, you can say that when there's one house, Democrat, one house, Republican, 5-4 Supreme Court. But when you have them running everything and they ran everything to the ground, please stop. Please stop being crazy.
They've been going since the 70s when they got off the dollar.
There's not
They're not doing anything new.
This dude is trying to bring up the fucking gold standard right now.
This guy, he's so he's so out of it. He had to go there and still can't even articulate that piece correctly, of which you'll see in a moment now. And I'm going to make a big correction on this fool. But this he can't even articulate that piece correctly. But anyway, go ahead, Emily.
There's not one political scientist that you can name from any major university that's going to agree with anything that you just said. There's not one.
Watch how he responds.
I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. I just want to be right. I don't care. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
So when I say, I need to talk to a political scientist about the fact that when I came out of high school, when Obama was in office and he did the Obamacare thing, right? I have to go to a political science to see that messed up the job market because nobody
didn't mess up the job market, man.
What? This guy, does he understand that created? It's MOT. The ignorance here is terrifying.
Let me explain. The healthcare exchanges made sure that it didn't matter where you worked at or what your hours were, you can have affordable healthcare. That's not going to be the employer side of anything. I don't know why you would even say that. Me, it doesn't matter. I have Blue Cross Blue Shield for my actual employees. Me, I can't get any of that because I have healthcare through the VA. And if you have healthcare through the VA, the only thing you can get is a catastrophic plan. You can't get the Affordable Care Act in Colorado. But I have excellent healthcare through the VA that I use appropriately, which is better than regular insurance. Unless you have some type of large ass medical event outside of your area, and then you're screwed. You're going to be on the hook for a lot of money. But at the end of the day, what he's talking about is just something that is just not true. The Affordable Care Act didn't make people cut out. It didn't.
Nope.
It didn't even cut hours about anything. I mean, a place that routinely does that type of stuff is the South. They repeatedly not give people full-time hours so that way they wouldn't have to pay health care. And none of those states really down there that even took the actual Affordable Care Act. So it would make sense if he was talking about Arkansas, Mississippi, or Louisiana, Alabama. But if you don't live down there, the Affordable Care Act didn't make people not give hours to people. What are you talking about? None of that stuff even mattered. They made it so that way your employer was not contingent upon your health care. They decoupled that. That's what the whole point of the Affordable Care Act was.
That's exactly what that was.
And it's like, you have to break this down. And this is easy. This is what I mean by not knowing what's going on and not knowing what's happening. Bro, this is very easy to understand.
Anyway, go ahead, MOT, but
they wanted to do full time anymore, and it's been like that since then. And I'm telling you that Trump is doing it himself. Like you said, he didn't reply to that. He's not going to, because the federal government does not want to do that shit. That's what I'm telling. Trump is.
The fuck is this guy talking about?
He's in a crash out up in there, but he's in a crash out. It's just. I mean, this was said. I mean, it got
a lot of
really
people
bad.
think that screaming shit actually make it seem like you're making sense. Dude, nothing of what you said was even remotely true. Remotely true.
Remotely true.
Not doing nothing different. Just like people he went to Venezuela. He went to Venezuela. We've been in South America. He's not the first person.
Analysis of the.
What the fuck is we have always been in South America have to do with kidnapping the fucking president of Venezuela? How do you put that together and say it out of your mouth like that's some cogent shit? How do you do that? Everybody didn't go down to South America and kidnap a president and then started a war to actually increase the value of the commodity that you just stole. He just stole the resources in Venezuela, allowed oil companies to come in and just sell their shit on the open market. And then he started a war to increase those profits for oil companies. And this guy's trying to make it look like, oh, well, everybody went to South America. No. You just don't know what you're talking about. In this type of anger and trying to bogart your way into the conversation with this deliberate misinformation. No, this is the stuff that BGS does. This is where they learn this stuff from. And they can't really go nowhere with this type of conversation, but they come into these black male progressive spaces and shut them down. Now, if you want to get past these things, you can just pick a side and understand the actual argument. It doesn't look like this guy understands no part of any argument, and it's quite obvious.
Executive orders.
Okay, now we're talking about the executive order. What executive orders?
He doesn't even know. That's no idea. That's no idea.
Oh boy.
Which ones? There's been so many.
Which one did you cover? Which one did you cover with a critical analysis?
Which one?
Oh boy.
They're executive orders.
No, sir. The question was, what critical analysis did you do of Trump's executive orders? And he couldn't answer the question. Period.
Doesn't even really know what he's talking about.
No, he's way out of his league. And it's going to be obvious right here. And the mic drop moment of the show is coming up, folks. It's coming up.
It's 2026. When did Trump come into office?
2025.
So which one of the executive orders?
Well, wait a minute. Which ones have you covered?
I didn't vote for him. You voted for him. That's why I'm asking you this.
No.
And you arrest my case.
Oh, what do you do?
Yeah, and there's my point. You have no critical analysis. You haven't covered what's going on. You're just making up stuff as you go along. You're
I'm talking about MLTing yourselves like that.
No, that's you. That's exactly what you're doing right now.
Hold a second.
Anything that's going on within the administration.
That's a mic drop moment.
Pure, unadulterated
mic drop.
This man didn't even know where he was. He didn't. It's like
critical analysis.
It's like a fighter getting hit and he goes to the wrong corner. He doesn't even know where he is. He doesn't even know where this guy. He doesn't even know where he is. No
critical analysis.
No clue as to even what Mike's even talking about.
And this be even about to get worse because he's going to assume because he did no critical analysis that we didn't do no critical analysis, and that's not the case, as he's about to demonstrate.
Administration other than memes and sound bites. What MOT was doing over there was a critical analysis of T.S. Johnson's video.
No, that was not a critical analysis. He was just making. If that's because you say a bunch of words, does not mean critical analysis.
Just because you say a bunch of words, that doesn't mean it's critical analysis.
Jesus
and now Mike is about to ask him another simple question, and he's about to attempt to try to answer it. This is this John guy.
No, bro. He's sitting there projecting. He's projecting what he feels onto Tina's.
I asked you initially when you came on which argument that MOT made that you disagree with, and you couldn't name anything.
I told you he's not making any arguments because he's too. Johnson is saying one thing, and then in his emotional mind, he interprets and says, "Oh, he's saying that." That is not critical analysis, and that's something that Democrats have a bad habit of doing. Listen to what he's actually saying, not what you think or believe he's saying.
I just asked AB Media, which executive order has he covered it? AB Media said 0. So if you're saying that critical analysis, right, is not what MOT was doing.
Now you're talking about AB again.
No, I'm doing a compare and contrast.
Oh,
okay, because
there's no compare and contrast.
Hold on, Mike, hold on. Now wait a minute.
You're not making any sense.
Wait a minute. Shut the fuck up. Now let me ask you a question. How
You hear that?
Did you hear that? So how you hold out in the corner of not doing the critical analysis is shut the F up. Let me ask you a question. Okay. This ought to be good. And this question is about to blow up in his face. So let him go.
How many executive orders of Joe Biden did you cover?
We covered all of them. You didn't know that, did you?
Really?
Oh my God.
We covered all of them. And he was fucking stunned. We covered all of them as they were happening, by the way. And look at the stunned look on this animal's face. Let him try to spin move his way out of it. This is going to be great.
You know that
They have nothing.
We covered everything.
Really? Because the only thing I've seen in the last few months were clips from my channel.
No. We covered everything from 2020 all the way up until 2025.
Okay.
Everything. We didn't take down any of our content. All that stuff stayed up there. You know why you can't go through it and debunk it?
Why?
Those are too strong of arguments that we made. Okay, those were very sound arguments.
You got jokes.
The arguments that you're making right now, the arguments that you're making right now are based on memes and sound bites. That's not what we do on our channel.
Really? Oh, you got jokes.
We don't do memes.
Oh, you
and
got
sound
jokes.
bites.
Okay.
No, we don't do memes and sound bites. That's you. We leave that to you.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Okay.
The fact that you haven't covered any executive orders for the Trump administration in over a year, and you want to have a conversation with us or have a critique of MOT, I'm sorry, but I think that you are trying to punch above your weight, and I don't think you're capable of doing that.
I'm trying to punch above my weight. Really, nigga? Okay.
Yeah, I think you should get BGS or get somebody to help you, right? And I was on Art's panel a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I went up there by myself. I gave Art an answer to every single question that he asked, and you guys did not have any critical analysis of what I said.
Really, we didn't? Okay.
No, you didn't. You sat up on that panel, and all you did was agree with BGS. That was it. Like I said, whenever you really want to have a real discussion about politics, you want to go one-on-one.
Okay.
You want to go one-on-one.
Let's take a look at your Butthurt Brain Trust channel.
Yeah, but it's not about our channel. It's where's your analysis of what's going on? You have no analysis on anything.
I gave my analysis. I don't agree with the Rand war, and
that's not a critical analysis. Anybody can say they don't agree with war.
Really,
anti-war people don't agree with war. So what?
So basically, what you're saying is that he hasn't gone and actually looked at like the laws and all the things that are being passed. That's what you're saying.
And how you got into the situation in the first place? Nothing.
Oh, I haven't?
Where's the analysis?
Well, we're in a Rand war right now.
Listen to this movie.
He's still trying to do it. He's still trying to do it.
This is incredible.
Political conversation is over.
It's been
the
over.
Left-right conversation is over.
And watch as it further devolves. Continue.
Yeah, yes.
Biden started that war in Ukraine.
No shit.
What he really wants to hear about? What he really wants to hear about is about economics, the policies that he's passed and stuff. That's why he brought up the tariffs and stuff. That's what he's really talking about. I understand what Mike is talking about now.
Of course. But you don't think the AB media is not going to cover that. You know why he's not going to cover that? He's incapable of doing it. So what he does, he sticks to antagonizing myself, MOT, whoever else that he can find, because that's the only way he can make content. Can't make content outside of that.
Okay, well, all right.
You're incapable of making content about the very president and the administration and the executive orders that they.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let's take a look at some of your videos.
You read about, like I said, I don't know too much about California. What's the politics? I know more of my local and
You'll
southern
see that's
politics.
Art's channel. That's not your content. This is on his own content.
Actually, it's a series. It's a series of low literacy.
Wait, who is that right there? That looks like me.
Yeah, but
that logo looks so damn familiar. Wait a minute, that logo looks very, very familiar. And this is on the Black Brain Trust's channel.
Yeah, but when we were talking about like the low information voter,
voter.
I mean, you know, it was really a dedication to your dumb ass.
It was the he was the avatar of you were the avatar of the low information voter.
Bro, he was an AB media meme pinata that we just kept.
Oh my gosh.
An AB media theme pinata, and he didn't like it.
We were talking about.
That logo looks so damn familiar. Oh right, it's mine, you bitch made nigga. Oh, let's go. No, wait a minute. No. I'm gonna be fair. Let's go to another video. And this was his content mostly during 2024. The other one, let's see. That's yes.
You know.
The actual series was about low political literacy personnel, and he's proud that he was multi-featured in a low literacy personnel themed live stream.
That's what he was, and then he got emotional, started calling Mike Lope. You heard the names he was calling them.
Yeah,
see where this thing was going.
Crazy talk, and this is what we had to go through. It's nuts, but let's just keep going. This is about to be over with soon.
Yep, that's another one of mine. Wait, that logo looks so damn familiar. Where did I have seen that logo for? Oh, right.
See, my problem with leftists, and listen, I'll give him that because I'm an analytical person myself.
Okay. Where was the analytical conversation from John during this whole thing? Can somebody help me out with that?
No, he's an analytical person. Incredible.
Well, let's hear what this person has to say.
So I understand what you're talking about. My problem with them is they make it seem like because they go over a bunch of data, they can comprehend it.
That's the whole point of going over data. Is to comprehend what you're actually talking about. That's the whole point of talking about data.
This is
so he said that he's an analytical person, and then he just said that just because you're going over a bunch of data, that doesn't mean that you understand it. And it's like, okay, what part of it that you disagree with? That's when you give out that information, but you don't, who are we, man? He's an analytical person. Don't let him explain.
They can't. That's why there's no point of even going over data with them, because like I said, he's gonna tell me. So he's gonna act like Trump is doing all these new policies. He's talking about executive orders, blah blah blah. Okay, when I look and experience the economy, nothing has changed or been different since Obama got in office.
If you are a talentless nigga, you are correct.
Boy, this is.
If you are a talentless dumb nigga, You are 1,000% correct. The economy is never going to be good enough for you. Okay? If you're saying that there's no difference in the economy ever since Obama to now, nah, dude, you can't just say that. It's either you ain't got no skills or something must be wrong. Or maybe you stay in the wrong fucking area. The only way you can say shit like that is that if you just have no idea what's going on. Mike V's off the panel, a bunch of Delta November, the cheerleading pom-pom squad is about to jump up. They're trying to sound like, look, people know what they just heard. They know what they just heard. They just heard Mike V pretty much end the conversation when it came. They didn't do political analysis. And then this guy, John, on the right says that they think because they cover a whole bunch of data that they are analytical. That's the whole point of data analysis, is to analyze the data. But to him, that's why I don't like leftists. Like, the thing is that they want to use these anti-democratic terms, but they don't want to be called a Republican when they use those terms. Ann Coulter says that shit. Bill O'Reilly says that shit. Sean Hannity says that shit. You know what those guys are? Industry conservatives. But when you say it, we're supposed to treat you like you some type of fucking independent. No. No. And everything that he says is anti-democratic. This is why when people say that they're in the middle and they have all this anti-democratic smoke, you can talk to me once you live in a Republican area. I only discuss conservative things with actual Republicans. And there is no Republican area that works exclusively off conservative. You need these big liberal areas and tons of community investment for things to work. We know how Nebraska looks. We know how Iowa looks. We know how North and South Dakota looks. We know how Montana looks. Either farming or energy exploration, it cannot float an entire economy. It never has been able to do that. You need those big liberal cities and technology and advancements in order to run things. But these people, there's no need to talk to them. I'm glad that they've blown all of their credibility right now. I'm not worried about these people when it comes to the general election. They're going to try to run right back around and try to get you disconnected from areas that work where you live at to join them in areas where it don't work. You're gone. This individual has ended the actual all discussion when it comes to debate. This conversation is over. The meme machine is about to go back memeing and just leave them there. You have a Republican ran state. You voted for the Republican Party. And now you don't want to take responsibility for it, nor take responsibility locally for what's going on in the area. So, I don't know, man. You got anything else before we get up out of here?
MOT, I've heard all I need to hear, and I have seen all I need to see.
Yeah, T.S. Johnson was doing another book review tonight rather than talk about how he's taking this 19-point agenda somewhere. And this guy has the nerve to bring up the 19-point agenda and say it was happening in Kentucky, knowing damn well no one in this space outside of Craig the Tech Guy lives in Kentucky. Nobody's talking about how Kentucky has implemented none of the 19-point agenda. And we know T.S. Johnson ain't even bringing it up in liberal states. You think he's taking his ass out to Kentucky, of all places, to push his 19-point agenda? Of course.
It's a ridiculous notion.
Of course. But then again, this is why this is just 5 live streams. 5. I could have done this at any other time I could have, but there's no real reason for it because these people are just repeating the same stuff. So why? The political conversation has been over. They won. They were supposed to be organizing stuff with the people that they worked with. It turns out they didn't do anything. So we're gone. Is there anything else we got before we get to our final bit here?
No, thank you very much for inviting me up.
I want to thank you guys for coming through. And we're going to have a word from our sponsor. God in light of our program. His words are very few, but they are true. This man says a lot of crazy things, but sometimes a man can be right and wrong at the same time. So without further ado, we will lead you with parting words from our spiritual light leader and our guiding light of the program, Charles Manson. Take it.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.